Hello friends, heavy market recently, so we needed to have a clear update. That's why I couldn't fill all the data in a chart or in a small tweet or the market update. So willing to record this in a video. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, I have put some useful information in the video description. Please check it. So let's start breaking down the market from higher to lower time frames to realize where we are and what we are expecting here. Now we start with the quarterly chart. So as usual, the higher time frame, the more significance we have. So on the higher time frames, on the quarterly, we have this uh, 2021 quarter one two levels. So as we can see that these two levels, we have been trading inside these ones. Even we pumped up to 65K or even we dumped below 30K, but we are still inside these two quarterly levels. So let's start by pointing these levels. quarterly level. So the upper one will be a resistance and the lower one will be the support. So these are the two quarterly levels, the 58.8K and 29K. I'm using Bitstamp because I have enough history in this, enough price action history. Now, the next thing I want to go, then I will go to the monthly. I don't see much data here inside the quarterly. So I will go to the weekly, and before I start drawing weekly levels, we have very important thing that the weekly MA50. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, I already explained this, that the weekly MA50 is very important. Let me show you. This is 2013 bull market. Then when we start the bear market, the first test of weekly MA50 provided like 87% pump. Then it acted as a resistance, as you can see. The next bull market 2017 also, after we dropped all the way down, also it provided a decent reaction here, a decent pump like 55%. Also here we got something like also the same, like 55%. So this is weekly level, and the markets usually tend to respect these weekly levels. We all also don't forget that MA200 as well on the weekly was always the level that respected during bear markets. So that's why weekly MAs are super important. So we will keep an eye on MA50 on the weekly, and I put this as a fix as a weekly. So when we change the time frame, it will stay showing. It will keep showing the MA50 on the weekly. So this is the weekly MA50. Now let's zoom in to the current price. We have these two quarterly levels, as we mentioned, and as we can see that when we tested this, we had a nice bounce from here. Also, we couldn't also flip the upper one. Now let's go down for more detailed levels. So we have now on the weekly, we have two levels I need to consider. First, I have, let's take the magnet here. So first, I have this weekly level, which was very important for me. And whenever I saw the close below it, then I flipped my bets to locally bearish here because we lost this level. And since then, Bitcoin managed to go down around 7-8%. So we have this weekly level around 34,700. This is very important weekly level. It was holding for 7 weeks, then we lost it. Once we lost it, we bearishly retested, as you can see. As you can see here, this uh, uh, this retest, and then we dumped down. We went south. The other weekly level I want to also mention for me with good data to consider is this week level is around 32.3, So I have these two weekly levels. Let's mention them on the chart. Weekly, let's call it SR, support and resistance. And I have two of them. Okay. So the next time frame, important time frame for me is the daily. And for the daily, it's clear. It's I have this level, the daily, we use blue for daily, and I have this level. And these two levels are actually our range, 30 to 40K range, 30 to 40K range. So you can see here, we couldn't pass through this range, also on the other side as well. So these are the levels we are watching. Now let's go back to the weekly to see what happened exactly till now. On the weekly, these blue levels, we lost this weekly support. We bearishly retest the previous weekly level, and we went all the way down to the next level. Now we are currently reacting of those, be both weekly level and MA50 on the weekly. Now, as we saw in the history, that MA50 is very strong level. Not only here, you can see this in Dow Jones, in stocks, in indicates, in all the legacy markets as well. Whenever you have a trendy market on the high time frames, then MA200 and MA50 are well respected. Now, what's we are getting here is we are inside this range. We are inside this range, the blue range, but we are keep getting bad news. I will not call it fraud or something, because there is some real bad news are happening in the market. There are some real bad news, whether it is like from China, or whether it is like banning mining activities in China, or maybe some payment gateways are closing for Binance, or there are a ton of news, and they are real news. These news are reflected on the chart. So that's why we still see the market is still heavy. Bitcoin is not able to go above the mid range recently. If this is our range, so we have like the mid range of this range, the blue lines, and this is in between. So we are stuck below the mid range for a while, uh, because we are keep getting these bad news. But we all know the markets that it can turn upside down in a matter of one candle, So I believe we just need to some anything like maybe some absence of the bad news for a while, or at least one good news that will be enough to give the expected bounce of MA50. Uh, let's go back to the weekly. The weekly. Shorting Bitcoin after we lost this weekly was not a bad idea, but now we are approaching another weekly level plus the weekly MA50. So I won't be a big fan of shorting Bitcoin here at the support. You short the resistance, you lost a support, it become a resistance, so you are okay to short it. But I don't think it's very smart to short Bitcoin here. Holding BTC spot here is never a bad idea. And for me, I am holding spot, and I am not willing to sell Bitcoin spot as long as we are holding these weekly levels. Now, uh, for quarterly, that will be a longer term plays. So I am not trading based on quarterly levels, but based on the weekly levels, I am not a seller of my Bitcoin. Now, what I am expecting next few days, I expect we range more in this tight range between this weekly SR, between 34.7 and 32.3. Now, whenever I see clean breaker above this, clean breakout above this, then I will turn bullish up to the range high, the 41K. And if I saw a clean close below this weekly, then the same strategy. You see this bearish retest, you start shorting, you target the range low, and you target the quarterly level. Okay, so these are the important levels for me. These two weekly levels plus the MA50. If we lost this level, then shorting is okay towards the daily support here and the quarterly levels. And if we could reclaim or break through cleanly break through 34.7, then longs are preferred to target the upper upper SR level around 40K. uh, that's it, as simple as it is. These are the levels I am watching now. If you would like to zoom into even lower time frames, these lower time frames will help you to find your entries and exits. Okay, but keep the bigger picture, quarterly, weekly, monthly, in your brain, because usually they are the ones which are well respected by the market regardless of the news or everything. Okay, so I have weekly MA50, I have important weekly SR here, not shorting this, instead holding spot if you don't have Bitcoin and you are willing to buy for the short term. In my opinion, this is not a bad area to buy, because range low, weekly SR, weekly MA50, this usually at least is giving 30, 50, up to 80% bounce, up to 80% bounce. Now, what happens if we break above this or below this? We can discuss this later, especially below this. Maybe it's important to discuss this. As we said, if we lost uh, this weekly, if we lost this weekly, sorry, let me close this. Okay, so if we lost this weekly, then we will be looking for the quarterly levels and all these things. But if we lost both of these levels and we closed weekly below it, then we will start considering the lower support levels around 24K. Also, the next one will be the previous all-time high zone between 19 to 7, between 17 to 19K, but it's too early to consider these levels or to think about these levels. Currently, I have these levels, plus here I have a node here. So 26K or 24K, this will be the levels if we got full breakdown. But till then, we are still playing these levels one by one, and we have the MA50 here, and uh, this suggests us to go first at least to 40K before considering more downtrend. Now, for trading, for longs are preferred once we flip 34.7. For shorts are preferred once we weekly close below the lower weekly level to target the daily and the quarterly levels below. These are all the levels you need to be considered. Everything in between is low time frame noise, you don't need to consider, but you need to be very sharp and open and unbiased, especially after weekly levels, weekly close. So after the previous weekly close, it was bold and clear, and I quote, it's bearish close, we should go south. And yes, we went south 7-8%. Now we are at support, because we are at support, so I can't say I am bearish here. The overall market is still looking heavy, so much fraud, so much bad news, so much uh, maybe regulations, pressure, but all of this can turn all the way around once you see one big green candle and all the FOMO will start. So this is support, and this is the first resistance, and SR level is 34K, 34.7K. Flipping this, and we will start considering 40K again, 40K again. Now, what happens if we flip 40K? Now, if we flip 40K, then the upper levels will be around 45, even up to 48, 49K. But it's too early to consider these levels. Now we have this range, we still play this range. We have this weekly level, weekly support MA50. So I cannot be bearish at this confluence support. Okay, I was bearish after the previous weekly close, but currently I can't be bearish. It's the support. So it's naturally you be at least, if not bullish, neutral on the support. Okay, at least. So neutral or bullish. So I prefer to be bullish without leverage, just spot from here up to upper weekly SR around 34.7 up to, and if I get a close there, then refilling and longing up to 40K. That is all the details related to Bitcoin. Don't forget to read the details I write down below the video. Also, I recommend you to use some exchanges. You won't regret this, especially nowadays. Uh, Thank you. I will keep you posted. Have a nice, profitable trading.